In this session, we'll complete the remaining types of circles. In the last session, we have seen about the first two, that is 2-point circle and concentric circle. Now let me go with the next one, and the next one is 3-point circle. So I am going 3-point circle. Select the first point, select the second point, and select the third point. So if you pick 3 points, passing through those 3 points, we are going to get a circle. Now for this, let me take one example here. I am taking 3 lines. First line, second line, and then let me take here a third line. Now I am going to draw one circle passing through the 3 end points of these 3 lines. So create it like this, and here you can see we got a circle passing through all the 3 end points of the 3 lines. So this is known as a 3-point circle. Then the next one is create circle tangent to 3 entities. Now here you can create a circle tangent to 3 entities. So first let me take here 3 entities, and the 3 entities I am taking as 3 circles. Create the first one, create the second one, and create the third one. And now let me go with create circle tangent to 3 entities. Select it, select the first one, select the second one, and select the third one. Now here you can see we got a circle tangent to the first one, tangent to the second one, and tangent to the third one. And wherever the objects maintain the tangency, by default system is going to give you a tangent constraint t. So this is about circle tangent to 3 entities. These are the 4 types of circles we have here in ProE. Now let us try out the same 4th one by taking lines and circles. Now here I am taking 2 lines. Then let me take one circle. Now tangent to these 3 entities I want a circle. So once again I am going to the 4th one. Select the first entity, select the second entity, and select the third entity. Now this is a circle tangent to these 3 entities. Now the last one here is ellipse. We have here full ellipse. Whenever you want to create a full ellipse, you can go with ellipse here, pick the center point, and then you can pick a point anywhere on the ellipse. So pick the center, then you can pick the point on the ellipse, then come out of the ellipse, and here you can see we got Rx and Ry values. Because it is ellipse, we are going to have Rx and Ry values. So now if you want to modify, again you can double click on them. Rx I am changing to 70, and let me make Ry to be 20. So now this is an ellipse with 70 by 20. So this is about circles and ellipses. The next we will learn about arcs. In the arcs, the first one is known as 3-point arc. So let me go with 3-point arc. First we have to select the start point, then we have to select the end point, and the third point you can pick anywhere on the arc. So create it, then come out of the arc, and here you can see we got the dimensions, and because it is an arc, by default ProE is going to give you a radius. So for circles we are going to get diameter, and for arcs we are going to get radius. And even here also, if you want to modify the radius, you can double click on the value, and let me change that to 60. So this is about a 3-point arc. So 3-point arc. And the next one is concentric arc. Just like concentric circles, here we have concentric arc. First I am creating one arc here, and now let me go with concentric arc. So go with concentric arc, then you can select the arc, because here you can see again it is asking me to select. So either you can select a circle or arc. Select it, and after selecting the arc, now we have to pick the start point and pick the end point. Because it is an arc, we have to define each and every time the start points and end points. So like this continuously, here also you can create n number of concentric arcs by changing the start point and end point. And at last we can come out of the command using either middle button of the mouse or the arrow which is given on the top. Now these are the different arcs. Then we'll see the third one. The third one here is nothing but center arc. So whenever you want to create a center arc, you can go with center arc here. In center arc, we have to pick first the center point, then we have to pick the start point, and at last we have to pick the end point. That's all. Center, start and end. Now this is about the center arc. Then now we have here an arc tangent to 3 entities. Just like circle tangent to 3 entities, here we have arc tangent to 3 entities. So first let me take here 3 entities. First one I am taking a line, then second one let me take a circle, and the third one I am going to take here an arc. Now tangent to these 3 entities, I want to create an arc. So let me go with now the fourth one called arc tangent to 3 entities. Select the first entity, select the second entity, and then you can select the third entity. So here you can see we got an arc tangent to 3 entities. And here we should remember one point. The end points of the arcs are going to be placed on the first 2 objects what we are selecting. Now in this case I selected first line, then I selected the circle. So that is the reason the start point and end point of the arc are placed on the first 2 objects. So this is about arc tangent to 3 entities. So these are the 4 types of arcs. Then we have one more type, that is known as conic arc. Conic arc. So whenever you want to create a conic arc, you can go with conic arc. Pick the first point, pick the second point, and then you can pick the third point anywhere here on the arc. Then come out of the arc, and here you can see by default it is going to give you a center line passing through the start and end points of the conic arc. And on the top of the arc here we got a value, but this is not the radius, it is known as the conic parameter. So for conic arc we are going to get a conic parameter, and if you want to change the conic parameter you can double click on it and you can change it. Let me change that to 0.8. By default it was going with 0.5, and now I have changed that to 0.8. And here we cannot give whatever the value we want. It is not possible to specify for this conic parameter because it is going to have a range. This conic parameter is having a range, and the range is 0.05 to 0.95. And when the value is exactly 0.5, it is nothing but a parabola, and if the value is less than 0.5 then you can take it as an elliptical arc, and if the value is greater than 0.5 then you can take it as hyperbolic arc. So 0.05 to 0.95. So let me give here a value less than 0.5, that means I am taking here something 0.25. So because I am taking here 0.25, I am going to get an elliptical arc. Similarly, if I make this to 0.9, then I am going to get an hyperbolic arc. And once again if I change this to 0.5, then you are going to have a parabolic arc. So these are the 3 different types of arcs we can get just by changing the conic parameter. So these are the different types of arcs. So with this we have completed the arcs. Now let us once again go back to the lines. We didn't see actually about the second type. The second type is line tangent to 2 entities. Like circle tangent to 3 entities and arc tangent to 3 entities, here we have line tangent to 2 entities. Now first let me take here 2 circles, and let me go with line tangent to 2 entities. I am selecting the first entity and I am selecting the second entity, and directly here we are going to get a line tangent to these 2 entities. Similarly, let me select the same 2 entities at the bottom. Because I am selecting at the bottom, I am going to get now the line at the bottom. Then if I pick for the one, if I pick on the top, and for the second one if I pick at the bottom, then I am going to get inclined one like this. Then one more possibility, for the first one I am selecting at the bottom, and second one I am selecting on the top. So these are the different possibilities we are going to get when we are changing the selection point. Now this is known as line tangent to 2 entities. Then next we will see about fillets. So here in ProE we have 2 types of fillets. The first one is known as circular fillet and the second one is known as elliptical fillet. Now first I will show you circular fillet. Let me go with fillet here. I am selecting the circular fillet. The first one is circular. Go with circular fillet. Then you have to select 2 entities and after selecting the two entities you are going to get a fillet here, and you can see because it is circular fillet, system is going to give you directly the radius, and if you want you can double click on this and you can adjust the fillet radius. And if you are going the next one called elliptical fillet, then it is going to give you an elliptical fillet where you are supposed to adjust the horizontal and vertical distances. Let me adjust this vertical distance to 5, and similarly you can adjust the horizontal distance. And of course by default the horizontal distance is not given by the system, but if you want you can create it by using an icon by name create defining dimensions. And how to create the dimensions, that everything we'll see in the next session. So these are the two different types of fillets. One is called circular and the other one is elliptical. And in depth about the fillets we are going to see in the next session.